Okay, so we got the story about Russ Smith. He scored 65 points in an NBA D League game. You just don't hear that much about the NBA D League. So interesting something this big would happen. But what sticks out, it connects a lot to Philadelphia once again. It also connects to the Spurs and the Cavs. But interesting, he scores 65 points. He plays for the D League team, the 87ers, which are an affiliate or whatever of the Philadelphia 76ers. Remember, Philadelphia and gematria equals 65 the small way, 101 the big way. This guy's name, Russ Smith, equals 146 and 38. I mean, yet again, another 146. I've mentioned this as a date over and over. June 14th is Donald Trump's 70th birthday. It's also Pope Francis's 1189th day as Pope, connecting to the chapters in the King James Bible. Also, just in regards to this, Donald Trump will turn 70 years old on this day. This is the 70th season of the NBA, so just interesting. Maybe the season was actually going to end on that day because of the 1189, the end of the Bible and whatnot. Who knows? Just a thought. So whatever, he plays for the 87ers, or the D League for the Philadelphia 76ers. He scores 65. He wears number 5, though. In gematria, 5 equals 42 and 24. He was 24 of 42 shooting that night. I mean, also the team that he scored the 65 against was the Canton Charge. The Canton Charge is the D League team for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Just want to point that out really quick. And once again, it just seems like they're messing with me or messing with us or whatever in this coding because, I mean, his name adds up to 146, just like Oakland, California, where the Warriors play. The Warriors used to be from Philadelphia. Then he breaks this record against the affiliate to the Cavs, but yet the team that he still loses. So, they lost to the Canton Charge by 11 points. A number that I've also talked about being associated with the Warriors. The total score of the game was 140 to 129, which adds up to 269. Super interesting number. Pope Francis, on his trip to the United States, he went to Philadelphia on the 269th day last year. September 23rd equals 269 in gematria. 269, if you write it out, equals 100 and 271. The word 51, which is associated with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cleveland equals 51. LeBron James equals 51. Cleveland Cavs equals 51. They haven't won a sports championship in 51 years. 51 equals 100. So it connects to the 269. It also equals 46. Just interesting, if you add up the big way and the small way of 51, it equals 146. Just like Russ Smith. But if you write out the word 100, it equals 108, just like Golden State Warriors. So just something to think about. It makes me wonder too, are the Warriors going to break the record and then lose to the Cavs, because this guy broke the scoring record and then he lost to the team affiliated to the Cavs. So maybe the Warriors will break the streak or break the Bulls 72-10 record and then still lose in the finals. Something to think about. I mean, I'm just really stuck on the Warriors. I can't. There's so much other coding that I think that there's no way they're going to lose. And mostly what I'm basing it on stems to the All-Star game and the back-to-back theme that they have, which, I mean, last year the Warriors won. They were coded to Valentine's Day and also the All-Star week. So if it's the same with this year, I mean, there's just no way. They were foreshadowing a back-to-back championship. So whatever. Like I said, I just want to keep showing all of this other coding just in case I am wrong. But anyway, Russ Smith has only actually played 27 games in the actual NBA. But look at his last 3 games. His last 3 games that he played were against the Warriors. He played for Memphis in the playoffs last year. He played Golden State, and then also Golden State in the regular season on the 80th game. And they lost every time, too. So just pointing that out, they lost all 3 games. The last NBA game that he played was he was 24 years and 24 days old. 24 years, 24 days old even. Which just sticks out. I've talked a lot about the X theme that's been going on since the Super Bowl and whatnot. The Super Bowl was even 24 to 10. 10 in Roman numerals is an X. 24 is X in our alphabet. It's the 24th letter. So the Super Bowl score was 24 to 10. You even had the Black Panther stuff with Beyonce. She wore the thing with the X like Michael Jackson. They did the X on the field. Malcolm X. Malcolm equals 24 in Gematria. X equals 24. His real name is Malcolm Little. Little equals 24. You even had the Zavion Dobson fake shooting or whatever. And they even had a little story about it during the Super Bowl. Zavion Dobson wore number 24. Anyway, this guy also scored 65 points then and broke the D-League record 27 days before his birthday. And he's only played 27 NBA games. His last NBA game was on 5/13 of 2015, which is 10 months and 10 days before he scored 65 points. And like I just said, X equals 10 in Roman numerals. So just like in the Super Bowl, it's all about this X stuff. And I have a whole bunch of other videos on this. Clear back to some of the first videos I ever made. The X is the St. Andrew's Cross, which ties into Scottish Rite Freemasonry and whatnot. Even like the X-Files just came back out, and it came out on the 24th day of the year. January 24th was the first episode of X-Files this year. The day that he scored 65 was also 51 days before the last time that he played an NBA game, or the 1-year anniversary. So interesting, in regards to the Cleveland Cavaliers. But the record that he broke was also a record that was held by another Delaware 87er, Jordan McRae. He scored 61 points in a game against the Canton Charge as well. And he just so happens to be a member of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Because after he scored 61 points in a game, it was on January 26th, then they brought him up or whatever, and he went to the NBA. So interesting, now he plays for the Cleveland Cavaliers. He scored 61 points against the team affiliated to the Cleveland Cavaliers. He's even 24 years old. I guess he would have been 23, though, when he actually did it. What's interesting, too, he was drafted to the San Antonio Spurs. The 58th overall pick. Freemasonry equals 58. And then he first signed with the Cavaliers. I believe it was a 10-day contract, and then he got signed again. But he first signed with them on 2/28. It was in the game against the Washington Wizards. I've talked about this. Interesting because it's connected to Washington, D.C., where Pope Francis came. It was the first place he went on his trip to the United States. The Cavs lost, though, 113 to 99. I've talked about this game before, actually. LeBron didn't play. In Gematria, LeBron didn't play equals 219. Back-to-back championships equals 219. The NBA season beginning to the NBA Finals is 219 days. Tons of other stuff with that. Also in regards to the Golden State Warriors, who lost against Portland on 2/19. But anyway, Trump assassinated in Gematria equals 219. If you write out 212, it equals 219. And the reason I mentioned 212 is because the same day that he got the 65 points in the game, Russ Wilson, or whatever his name was, Russ Smith, the Warriors defeated the Clippers, and the total score was even 212. Interesting, though, they scored 114 points. LeBron James, the big way, equals 114. But yeah, I mean, like I said, much more to that. Also, this McRae guy who had the record at 61 points, he did it on 126, which is 1 month and 26 days before the record was broken by Russ Smith. So, I mean, just kind of weird. He does it on January 26th, and then a month, 26 days later, the record gets beat. Also, 57 days. If you write out the word 57, it equals 131, just like the word championship. Russ Smith's full name, Russ Anton Smith, equals 57 as well. 126 to 328 is a span of 62 days. A number we've talked about a whole bunch, 62, 26, a lot of just sick stuff. The NBA Finals even begins on 6/2. But, yeah, if you go from the day that McRae got 61 points to his 25th birthday, it's 62 days. So actually I was wrong. He was actually 24. He was 24 when he got the 61 in the game. He turned 25 on March 28th. And I didn't put the little picture in here, but Russ Smith has also only played 131 minutes in the actual NBA. So I guess I wrote, we'll see if he gets signed, but obviously he didn't. But I'm actually not even sure if he can. I don't know if it's like too late in the season or whatnot, but who knows? Doesn't even really matter, if he doesn't. I mean, it could all be something to do with next year or whatever, but I don't know. It just seems fitting that it's going to be Cavs Warriors still from this. There is coding to the Spurs, but there's just something about this back-to-back coding that I noticed with the All-Star week and whatnot. So, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if it was the Warriors versus the Cavs versus the Spurs, but I don't know. I still think it's going to be the Warriors. While I'm on it, I'm just going to talk about some of these other posts, throw them in here because they connect to Philadelphia once again. We got this story on March 24th about Japan killing 333 mink whales. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot to talk about it. I just noticed a couple cool things. So, it was 116 days after the 333rd day of the year. That was the day that Kobe Bryant retired, or announced his retirement, November 29th. Kobe Bryant, a Philadelphia native. Philadelphia turned 333 years old this year on the first day of the NBA season, October 27th. Kobe Bryant announced his retirement 33 days after Philadelphia's 333rd day, or 33rd year. Anyway, if you go from that day, the 333rd day last year, to March 24th when this supposedly happened, it's a span of 116 days. A number I've talked about a whole lot around the Judge theme and also the assassination of Obama. But as I was just messing around here, I noticed that if you go from this day, it's a pretty special day because if you go anywhere in March, so if you go from March 1st after that day is 3 months, 1 day. March 2nd is 3 months, 2 days, and so on. So every day in March matches up the double theme or whatever from November 29th. Another thing that sticks out about the 333 in regards to this and Kobe Bryant is that Kobe Bryant was actually named after a famous Japanese beef, Kobe or whatever. So, super significant. I don't know what the whole point of this was, but connects to Philadelphia, connects to Kobe Bryant. We also had this Gary Shandling story. He died at the age of 66, a number we've seen a ton of times. It was also the same day as the Japanese stuff. But look, he was born on the 333rd day of the year, November. So that also means that he died 3 months, 24 days after his 66th birthday on 3/24. And I mean, we've just been seeing 66, whatever, tons of sixes all over. CNN even gives us this video about him on the David Letterman show. And then the same day, we get an article about David Letterman looking like bald Santa Claus. And that's scary looking. That doesn't even look like David Letterman, you know, but whatever, you know. I guess at this post, I must have threw in an extra thing here. Just talk about it really quick, I guess. It's just another theme, you know, something to do with talk show host, because this guy was a comedian on like a fake talk show. And then, you know, he's on David Letterman, and David Letterman was a talk show host and whatnot. I'm sure there's a lot more to it. I just really barely looked into it whatsoever. But I was thinking about the O.J. Simpson thing, how they supposedly found the knife buried in the backyard and blah, blah, blah. We got that story on 3-4. And then just the other day, we got a story about Kurt Cobain, and they finally showed the suicide gun. I mean, I don't know. It's just such a joke. Where they're bringing back, like, old murder weapons of the 90s or something. I don't know if that's a theme or something. But, whatever. Wanted to point that out. I think I'm just going to end it right here, I guess. I got a bunch of other stuff to talk about. They're all about sports, but they all connect to other events. So, whatever. Have a good night.